Hello, my name's Sioux, Manitowabi. I'm Wikwemikong's new energy planner with Wikwemikong Development Commission. And in the back of me is one of our bulk tanks. We put pellets in this tank here, and it's a feeding system for the furnace boiler that we have, wood pellet furnace boiler. And this one is 12 tons. And it's part of this is one of the 6 commercial setups we have in the community, and this is part of going green for our community with wood pellet energy furnace systems, and how it's good for the environment, and how we are a big we're one of the first First Nations to be doing this in Canada. So thinking green, going green for our community, and providing energy heating at a better a low cost efficiency for our residents. And this one is 8 unit residents, and doing the calculations, it's 350 a ton, so 10 tons to heat this place for a year, so about $400 some per residence in this building. That's on bulk. And we have the other systems, one at the high school, the other ones, one at the Sioux Wigwam, a couple more here at these other buildings, and we have a few residents. 2 residents have the same, there's like a micro size system of this for a residential area, a resident heating system, and it'll be run off pellets as well. And in the future, we're going to be having engagements with the community to bring sign people up for more pellet stoves and pellet furnaces, and as well as information as for our pellet distribution system that's going to be put in place. As you've seen the tank outside, a 12 ton tank, but it's 10 right now for this residence. It comes, the vacuum system pulls it in. The pellets come from outside, get pulled up into here. Pellets come in all the way down to the furnace on this side. The furnace pulls in here, goes into the hopper. Wood pellets get funneled down into the incinerator. Incinerator is behind here. Burns it. Ash and the excess of ash goes waste here, and there's a box that comes on here. The box is off right now for cleaning, but ash comes here, and then the heat is pushed from the furnace, the chamber, with this, and heats up the water pipes, and then the water pipes flow back into the in-floor heating of the building, basically, and exhaust fumes up here. And this is an extra buffer tank for holding heat for when the furnace shuts off. There's heat in here stored to circulate in the heating system. And yeah, basically this is just a vacuum. It pulls in the pellets from the tank outside, and it pulls it in, draws it in, and sends it into this boiler here.
I like to talk about the pellet boilers, like kind of and as an analogy between like a pellet boiler and a propane boiler or an oil boiler.
Yes.
Like an oil boiler, you have, well, there's one right there, right? You have an oil boiler and an oil tank, and a pellet boiler is a pellet boiler and a pellet tank. Like it's the same sort of principle. You need the same systems. It's just a pellet tank has to be a little bit bigger because pellets are less energy dense, so you need more of them for the same amount of energy that you get out of oil. So the burn chamber is back here. Combustion chamber's here. Sorry, the tools on the door.
Oh, it's like so small.
Yeah, so the other P4 that's here, the P438, the 38 is its output, so it's 38 kilowatts. Okay. This is a PE135, so its output is 35 kilowatts.
Oh, okay.
So they're similar in output size. This one is a little bit more work to service. Like it takes a little bit more time compared to the P4. It's still not difficult.
Oh wow, that's big.
But the benefit is it takes up less space. So that's the combustion chamber.
Wow.
So pellets drop in from see, so the pellet hopper is here. May as well we'll just take it right apart.
Wow. So this is the hopper. Fills up with the pellets. Oh, I can see where the hose comes from outside.
Yeah.
Gets pulled in here.
Mm-hmm.
Falls in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some sawdust in there that we can vacuum out. So, yeah, we had some issues with pellets before when we were getting the system to work, right? So this is not good. We've adjusted the pellet supply to get rid of this issue, but that'll cause problems.
So it'll clog?
What it'll do is, so in residential boilers, it'll cause a lot of problems. These systems can work through it, but it can basically create a bridge so it'll stop the flow of pellets, right? It's like the pellet supply process has been changed now so that the dust issues don't exist anymore, but there's still a little bit of dust in the system that has to be worked through. We have to, this is the ash bin. So regular maintenance, like on this, is, well, let me back up. So taking this thing all apart and cleaning it is something Mike's gonna do like one or two times a year. But you do have to empty the ash out of it anywhere from every 3 weeks on the big boilers to every month and a half maybe on these smaller boilers. So this is a fairly routine thing to take the ash out and to empty it. It's pretty easy to do, but you can see there's not much ash in this.
Okay, that's not too much. Nice and clean too. Compared to your at-home wood stove, would be a little bit more messy.
Mm-hmm. Once a year, you have to remove these. So these springs pull right out of the boiler, and then you just run a brush down through and clean them. It's, here we'd want to get up on a ladder and make sure you pull them up. It's a little bit of a messy job, but it's not too difficult. And there are, there's 12 heat exchangers there. 6 and 6.
Okay, 6, 12. Okay.
Yeah. But it's in good shape. Like it doesn't look very dirty at all. So below those heat exchangers, like straight down, is where this auger is. So the auger below the combustion chamber here, ash comes down to that auger, and then further back below the heat exchangers, ash comes down to this auger,
Okay.
and then it all gets pushed out this way.
So it pulls in, that turns on, vacuum starts, pulls the pellets in from the 12-ton pellet bin, pulls it in there into the hopper. The hopper funnels it into the chamber, burns in the chamber. When the ash comes into the ash bin, out the auger, and then what's capturing the heat from the burner?
The heat exchangers, right
The
here.
heat exchangers, and they push it.
The heat exchangers transfer the heat from the flue gases, or from well, I don't want to say smoke, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, it's not smoke because it's clean, but from the flue gas to the water in the boiler.
Okay.
So when the flue gases come out of the chimney, they're very cool.
Okay. And then it goes into the boilers. The water that gets heated up circulates into the floor of the building, in-floor heating. And this is the buffer.
Yeah, that's right. So the buffer tank's like a thermal battery on the system. So pellet boilers take a while to turn on and shut down, right? Like, it takes a little bit of time to ramp up and down. So the buffer tank's like a battery. We basically heat it up so it stores a bunch of heat. So if there's a call for heat and the boiler's not on, heat can come out of the buffer tank and heat domestic hot water or in-floor heating or whatever you need it. And by the time the buffer tank's cool, the boiler's up to temperature, and then it's able to supply the heat.
Okay, it's operating and ready to.
So it's a way to even out the heat supply to the building, and it's a way to get the best performance possible out of the pellet boiler.
Okay.
Yeah. It is unique. Well, it's not unique. often oil boilers, propane boilers will use buffer tanks, but they're often much smaller. So
Okay.
biomass boilers are characterized by larger buffer tanks.
Okay. So for the viewers, the pellets were coming in from a distribution plant. I believe it was in Hearst. Hearst. They come from Hearst, and they come on. You put in these big
Super sacks,
super sacks,
1100 kgs.
1100 kgs, and then they get shipped across Ontario on the highways. And what happens to these pellets? Sometimes they get moisture in them, and that creates a breakdown of these pellets, so they lose their shape and they become dust. And the dust is a contamination into the wood pellet systems. And luckily, this one could handle a little bit of contamination, but some of the bigger ones, it's kind of it'll shut the machine right down. So we really got to watch the pellets coming in, make sure they're clean, good quality pellets, and the transportation companies, we got to ensure that they're covering these pellets and making sure that they're coming in well, like at at least a 95 percentile product. And that's Wilson. He's one of our drivers for the pellet truck operator. So he's doing a lot of work, and we're figuring this all out in this new technology and going green for the community. And we should be proud of Wikwemikong for starting these initiatives, because we're one of the first in Canada, I've been told, that is doing this type of operations. And yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so there's a computer in the boiler that manages all its systems, which is great for efficiency controls. Like, it does a lot. It's a very efficient system, and we're just updating the software. It's this is not something that's part of regular maintenance. It's just a manufacturer's update. They come out every few years.
Firmware update.
Yeah, so we're just doing that now while I'm here.
I'm getting my fourth semester then.
Basically, LCD screen tells these motors what to do, and they make adjustments in the controlled motorized adjustment. Like a logic control board?
Yeah, so here's all the controls in here. This sometimes can be a little intimidating, right? There's 3 different electronics boards here, lots of wires. The control boards on all these boilers are the same in every boiler, meaning this control board's the same on every boiler in Wikwemikong, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, there's a computer system, but it's a computer system that, we make 40,000 of them a year,
Yeah.
and they've been around for years, so it's very robust and trustworthy. And Mike's never had a problem with any of the electronics.
In a nutshell, that's all we got.